From scandals at the IRS and the NSA to the government shutdown and Obamacare, 2013 has been a year full of ugly stories coming from our nation's capital. Ugly as a Christmas sweater. But which headlines truly stood out as the worst from Washington? Joining me now, Chris Plante, host of the Chris Plante Radio Show, and Bernard Whitman, a former pollster for former President Bill Clinton. Both good enough sports to wear their ugliest Christmas sweaters for the occasion. Bernard actually drawing the shortest straw and wearing mine. All right, guys. Can you see it, Chris?
I can, and you're right. This is practically handsome compared to that one.
Gretchen, I'm holding you close in my stomach today.
Well, it's very fitting because you're probably going to eat a lot over the next couple of days.
Hope.
All right,
I see that's actually you on there.
Yes,
holy smoke.
Isn't that horrendous? Let me get to your ugliest stories of 2013 from the political perspective. Chris, top it off for me.
Well, I tell you, there are a couple of obvious stories that big ones that will be remembered for years and years to come. But something that people ought to remember from this year is that during the government shutdown, President Obama's White House ordered the Park Service to put barricades, which we now call barricades, around the war memorials on the mall, keeping the boys of Pointe du Hoc, the men that stormed Iwo Jima, keeping them out of the World War II memorial, forcing men in wheelchairs in their 90s to use wire cutters to cut through the tethers, linking the sections of fence together to get in to see the memorial that was for them. This was never done before in past government shutdowns. It was done out of spite. It was done to create a media firestorm that they could use to blame the Republicans for the government shutdown. And quite honestly, it was a disgraceful demonstration of what really terrible government can do for you. And those images should be lasting images.
All right, so that was your ugly story of 2013, but oh, how fickle politics are, because soon after that was the Obamacare rollout. Bernard, you're up.
No question. Unfortunately, the ugliest political story of the year was the disastrous rollout of Healthcare.gov. You know, coming right on the heels of the government shutdown, the GOP was on the ropes. It looked like the Democrats were going to be able to keep the Senate, maybe even take back the House. We were honestly riding high. And then a centerpiece of the president's signature domestic initiative comes out and talk about a dud, complete disaster, epic fail. And I got to wonder, how on earth could something so important be left to chance? Complete mess.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's a Democrat speaking. All right, admitted NSA leaker Edward Snowden speaking out. He's going to reportedly make an address on national TV tomorrow morning. This is going to happen in Great Britain. He also gave an interview to the Washington Post, a lengthy one, defending his release of the top NSA secrets. So here is what he says in part, quote, "For me, in terms of personal satisfaction, the mission's already accomplished. I already won. As soon as the journalists were able to work, everything that I had been trying to do was validated." Hero or villain or somewhere in between, Chris?
You know, honestly, I think this is going to be debated for decades to come. Among my listeners, there is no clear way to cut out who's with Snowden and who's not. Liberal, conservative. Is he a whistleblower or a traitor? The truth is, I think he's a bit of both. I mean, the fact is he's poured out, 1.2 million documents, and one of them, or a very small number of them, about the NSA program. I think that's a program that needs to be stopped, that needs to be changed. I think it needed to be exposed. But that is such a small fraction of what he has poured out. And after going to China and Putin's Russia, I don't think you can call him a hero, certainly. Is he a traitor? I think we're going to be debating that for years and years to come.
Okay, so Bernard, this is something else that he also said, quote, "I'm not trying to bring down the NSA. I'm working to improve the NSA. I'm still working for the NSA right now. They are the only ones who don't realize it." What do you think?
I think he's tremendously smug and self-satisfied, and I do think he's a traitor. I mean, to be honest, he broke the law. He gave away government secrets. He broke his agreement with his country to keep all that information secret. And I understand he had legitimate concerns, but going and publishing millions of pages of documents and exposing data collection methods that put our country at risk, honestly, is not very patriotic. And he may think otherwise, but the facts bear him out as ultimately a traitor. And I think that the real story here is, I'm surprised, given how widespread this program is and given how many people knew about it,
Right.
that it actually took so long for us to get wind of it.
Ah, interesting point. All right, my ugly sweater guys, thank you so much for being great sports and giving us your ugliest political story as well. A Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. See you in January.
Happy holidays,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas. Thanks a lot.